All through these curses, we done Israelites and Deuteronomy 28. Going through these curses. Waiting for the 12 tribe of Israel, and you can't relate. Going through these curses.
He said, if you ain't from the 12 tribes of Israel, then you can't relate. Shalawam, shalawam. Let's give all praises be to the Most High Yahawah. Once again, all praises be to the Most High Yahawah and his only begotten son, our brother, our friend, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Shalawam to all the ox out there, the Ahchwaths, the water for tuning in. If you have tuned in, please make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. It's a beautiful time in Israel right now. You know, for those that are celebrating the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and all the brothers that's about to do it next month in the month of April. So it's a beautiful thing, right? It's a lot going on. Once again, please, if you have tuned in, hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment, and as you see the title and you see the thumbnail, we're gonna go into the Feast of Unleavened Bread and what it means and what the bread truly represents. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Let's go. Here we go. I want to jump right into the scriptures, as you know, I love to always do. We're going to go right into the Bible. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 2, verse 6, and it says, the law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did not turn many away from iniquity. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of Yahawah of hosts. But ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble in my law. When we think about this, when we think about the priests, the pastors, the bishops, what do we call them today? These people, the deacons, all these different things in the church and the congregation, right? All of these different things that go on in the congregation, how these people are making the children of Israel stumble at the law. They have departed out of the way, right? They're not taking the true bread that's needed. We're going to get into that through scriptures. But this is why I wanted to bring this out, because it says, but ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, saith Yahawah of hosts. Now, we all believe in the covenant. You know, if you're an Israelite, of course you believe in the covenant, you know, the testimony, the law. So if that's the case, the Most High is letting us know that many people have stumbled at the law. Not only have they stumbled at it, they corrupted the covenant of Levi. Verse 9 says, therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all people, according to as ye have not kept my ways, but have been partial in the law. And that's what a lot of people be doing. You know, a lot of people be like that. And we got to make sure that it's not like that. You know, we got to make sure that we're keeping his law, statute, and commandments, you know. So let's dive into this. Exodus chapter 12, what this whole thing is about, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? The Feast of Unleavened Bread. And it says in Exodus chapter 12, verse 14, we're going to dive into it a little deeper now. Let me turn this off, Salakia. We're going to dive into it a little deeper now. Let me see. Everything is being shared. Everything's good. Okay, calm. Exodus chapter 12, verse 14. And it says, and this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to Yahawah throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it as a feast and an ordinance forever 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Once again, for those who don't know, when you keep the feast of unleavened bread, right? Exodus 12 and 15, it says, 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. So when you keep in the feast of unleavened bread, you cannot eat any bread that has leaven in it, yeast, a rising agent. You cannot eat or consume any of that, right? We want everything that we consume on this feast, it has to be unleavened, right? That's what it needs to be. I want to click on this word real quick and go into where it says unleavened bread, right? This is the Hebrew 4682.
Strong's H 4682.
Got it.
Matzah. Matzah.
Masah. Masah. Let's get the definition of that, right? Let's get the definition. Unleavened bread, cakes without leaven, right? And then it says, in the sense, greedily devouring for sweetness. What do I want right here? This is what I want right here. I.e., an example, not soured or bittered with yeast. So this bread that we're consuming, this unleavened bread, is not soured and it's not what? Bitter. It doesn't have any yeast. Of course, we know that yeast is like some type of bacteria that's used when you put it in, whatever you put it in, to become a rising agent, and it goes in and does what it's supposed to do. Some people use it as good bacteria, and some, it could be a bad bacteria. So in this instance right here, unleavened bread, it says not soured or bitter. So this unleavened bread that we are receiving as the children of Israel, especially for these 7 days, it is not soured or bitter. So the whole rest of the time of the year, what type of bread are you consuming, right? Is that bread that you're consuming on a usual basis throughout the year? Is it soured? Is it bitter? Right? And usually when you take something that's sour or you eat something that's sour, it's nasty. Or when you drink something or bite onto something or try to eat something and it's bitter, you almost want to spit it out because it's nasty, right? So how come the majority of the world eats this regular bread all the time? Because as the Bible says, once you lived in filth so long, you don't know that it's filth. You don't know that it's dirt. You're just happy being the way you are, right? So the Most High commanded us to take part of this unleavened bread for 7 days. Verse 16, it says, and in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and in the seventh day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. So whatever it is that you have to cook to make food or eat, that's what you can do, but no manner of work. So, you can't get up and go to work that day and then come home and eat the feast of unleavened bread. It doesn't work like that. Verse 17, and it says, and ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this self same day I brought y'all your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generations by the ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at evening, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening. So 7 days, of course, it says the 14th day, because the 14th day at evening is what? Passover, for those who didn't know. And it says 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your house. So there can be no leaven in your home. Okay. 7 days. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened, in all your habitations shall you eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called for the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take a lamb, Salakia, and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover, right? So they getting ready for not only Passover, but the feast of unleavened bread. And once again, we have to understand what this bread is. It is what? Unleavened bread is not sour and it's not bitter. And why did the Most High command the children of Israel when they came out, as they're coming out of Egypt, right? Because it was the Passover. And then as soon as the Passover, when he killed all the firstborn children of the Egyptians, then it starts right then and there to what? The unleavened bread. Why did he start the unleavened bread right then and there? Why? That's a question. That's a question. Why did he do that? Well, he did that because the children of Israel were doing what in Egypt? What were the children of Israel doing? They were doing the same things that the Egyptians were doing. How do we know that? Forgive me, I'm a little under the weather, so bear with me. How do we know that? Let's jump to it, right? Let's go to Leviticus real quick, 18. This is how we know the children of Israel were doing things that the Egyptians was doing. So what did the Most High have to do with the children of Israel as soon as he was bringing them out? As soon as Pharaoh gave the order and said, hey, you guys need to get out of here. You need to get out of our land of Egypt. Go, flee from here, right? Because all of the firstborn sons were dead, from the throne, all the way to the handmaid, all the way to those that were locked up. Not only that, the beast, and he attacked, the Most High attacked what? Their gods, right? In the spiritual sense, right? In the spiritual realm, right? So as soon as that happened and the Pharaoh gave an order that the children of Israel needed to leave out of the land of Egypt, what does the Most High do? He starts to what? Purge the children of Israel. And this is why you have to eat that unleavened bread for 7 days to purge that leaven that's within inside of you, to purge that unrighteousness that's inside of you. How do we know that it was unrighteousness? Because when we read Leviticus 18, it's going to tell us, watch. Leviticus 18:1, and it says, and Yahawah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am Yahawah, your Allah. After the doings of the land of Egypt, that's where they were, right? And now they have came out of Egypt. Now they're in the wilderness. It said, after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein you dwelt, shall ye not do. You shall not do those things. Now, if they're left out of Egypt, right? They're no longer in Egypt. They're in the wilderness now. Why is the Most High commanding the children of Israel right here in Leviticus chapter 18, verse 3, not to do or keep the ways of Egypt wherein they dwelt? Because they still had those things within them. It was embodied in them. And the Most High was he was purging them. This is why he started first with the unleavened bread. Symbolic, it's all symbolic. After the doings of the land of Egypt wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. After the doings of the land of where? Canaan, where he's taking them. Whether I bring you, ye shall not do. Neither shall you walk in their ordinances. So he's letting us know that that the children of Israel did what at one point in time? They were walking in the ways of the Egyptians, and they were walking in the ways of Canaan, right? Verse 4, ye shall do my judgments and keep my ordinances to walk therein. I am Yahawah, your Allah. So who judgments should we keep? We should keep the Most High judgments. We should keep the Most High ordinances to walk in the Most High's way of life that he has given us. the book of the law. For he says, I am Yahawah, your Allah. Verse 5, ye shall therefore keep my statutes. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am Yahawah. Now, when you look at verse 5, we're going to dive into some other scriptures. But when we look at verse 5, it says, ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, right? And then it says, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am Yahawah. I am Yahawah. So let's dive into a few other scriptures. I want to see something, right, about this bread. Let's go to the New Testament about our brother, right? Hamashiach Yahushua. John chapter 6. And we know that this is talking about the Passover at first. You see John 6:4, and the Passover, the feast of the Jews, was nigh, right? And when Yahushua then lifted up his eyes and saw a great company come unto him, he said unto who? Philip, my brother Philip, this out there. When shall we buy bread that these may eat? See, we talking about that bread. But who is that true bread? Well, we're gonna jump down to, it's so much in here, but I'm gonna try to start at I started 31. It's just so much, man. And it says, our fathers did eat manna in the desert. See, our fathers, right? The Israelites that was in the wilderness, in the desert, they ate manna. As it is written, he gave them bread from the Shemayim to eat. It's all about this bread. What bread? Right? What bread is this that the Most High gave them? We know that it was manna. We know that it was manna. Then Yahweh said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father gave you the true bread from heaven. The true bread. That's what the children of Israel were receiving when they came out of Egypt. This is why they were commanded to eat unleavened bread for 7 days, because they were receiving what? The true bread. Not that bread that they had, not that bread that they had been eating in the land of Egypt. They have been eating that, right? Salakia. You know, I'm under the weather. I'm fighting through it though. But they have been eating that bread, right? As you see right here. When they was in the land of Egypt, they was in the land of Egypt for what? 430 years. They have been eating that bread, but that wasn't the true bread. Now that they came out of the land of Egypt, they were commanded to eat that unleavened bread, which is the true bread, right? Because there is nothing what? Bitter or sour in that bread. We already clicked on unleavened bread back in Exodus 20, and we see when it says unleavened bread that is what? Is no bitterness and there's no sourness to it, right? It's only what? Good and pure, which is the word of the Most High, that true bread that came out of what? Heaven, or the Shemayim. 6:33. For the bread of the Most High is he which cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world. Then say they unto him. Then said they unto him, evermore give us this bread. And they said, Master. Yahweh said unto them, I am the bread of life. So he is the bread of life. The embodiment of the bread, right? Symbolically, that bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. Now we know this is not talking about a physical thing, but a spiritual aspect. Why? because no matter how much you eat that one day of that bread, a day or two later, you're going to be hungry again. A day or two later, you're going to be thirsty again. So it's not speaking of a physical thing right here in verse 35. It's speaking of a spiritual aspect of that true bread, right? Which is what? The word of the Most High. Because it says, man don't live by bread alone, which is that physical part of it, but every word that proceeded out the mouth of the Most High. We're going to get that in a minute, right? Verse 36, but I said unto you, that ye also have seen me and believe not. All that the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast out. For I came down from the Shemayim, not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me. And this is the Father's will which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me I shall lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day. And this is the will of him that sent me, that everyone which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day. The Jews then murmured at him because he said, I am the bread which came down from the Shemayim. And they said, is this not Yahawashi, the son of Joseph? I want to make that clear that they say he was the son of who? Joseph, right? So he has a dad. He is the son of who? Joseph, whose father and mother we know. How is it then that he said, I came down from heaven? Yahawashi therefore answered and said unto them, murmur not amongst yourself, right? All these Israelites are always murmuring amongst themselves. Don't murmur amongst yourself. Don't do that. Don't do that. Murmur not amongst yourself. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of the Most High. Every man, therefore, that have heard and have learned of the Father cometh unto me. Not that any man have seen the Father, save he which is of the Most High. He have seen the Father. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me have everlasting life. Once again, he says, I am what? I am that bread of life. Yahawashi said he is the bread. Is he the regular bread? What kind of bread is Yahawashi? Question. What kind of bread is Yahawashi? Is he unleavened bread or is he regular bread? Well, we know that regular bread is sour, right? And it's bitter, which means that it may not be all true. But we know that Yahawashi, in reference to him saying, I am that bread of life, we know that that's all truth. We know that the word is pure. We know everything that comes from the Most High is pure, right? How do we know that? Let me get that real quick. John 6:48. We're gonna come back to that. Let me get this real quick. Psalms 19, verse 7. The law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making the wise simple. The statutes of Yahweh are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of Yahweh is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yahweh is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yahweh are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yeah, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is a great reward, right? So all these things that the Most High gives us through the word, through the bread, which Yahawashi is right. It is pure. It is enlightening. It is clean. It is true. It is righteous, right? So when Yahawashi says right here in verse 48 that he is what? The bread of life, We have to believe that. And we know that that bread of life is what? Unleavened bread. Just like the children of Israel when they came out. Watch 49. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from the Shemayim, that a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from the Shemayim. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. Right? Now, is it talking about spiritually or physically? Well, we know every man and woman is born out of a woman's womb is going to die. But it's telling you right here that you will live forever. How will you live forever? How will you live forever? It says, if you take of what? This living bread, which came down from the Shemayim, and if any man eats of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my what? Flesh. So Yahawashi lets us know right here, the bread that he's speaking about, the bread that we must consume is his what? Flesh. His flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. He's going to give his life. Sacrifice it. The Jews therefore strove among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? Somebody may be saying that when they watch this. Then Yahawashi said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, ye have no life in you. So if you do not eat of this bread, which is his flesh, right? And if you do not drink of his blood, then you have no life in you. Today, symbolically, we take the what? The bread, the unleavened bread, when you do the Passover. This is how we know that that bread is not what? Sour or bitter, because we take the unleavened bread, we break it, and then we take the wine as a symbol, right, of the blood, and we drink it. In the bread, the unleavened bread is his body, is his flesh. Why couldn't it just be regular bread? Because that bread is not pure. So it has to be unleavened bread that has no sourness or bitterness in it, And then we drink the blood and we use wine as that. Verse 54, whosoever eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood have eternal life. So if you partake in eating the unleavened bread, consuming that unleavened bread, and drinking that blood as the wine, it says that you have what? Eternal life. And I will raise him up at the last day, which he's speaking about the resurrection. Why? Because you have entered in. Well, you were already in the covenant. You were already in the covenant. He's just bringing you back now. 55. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. Can you really get full off of his flesh, off of his bread? It says it is flesh and meat, and the blood is drink. And he that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him. So when you partake in the feast of Passover, the feast of unleavened bread, and you break that unleavened bread, which is the flesh of the body of Hamashiach Yahawashi, and you take that cup with the wine in it, right, as a symbol of his blood, and you eat that bread to consume it in your body, and you drink his blood, he's saying that he is in you now. That's what it says right here in verse 56. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I am in him. I mean, how do you feel about that? Telling you, boy, this under the weather, boy. Trying to fight through it, though. Anyway, he that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him. 57. As the living Father hath sent me, and I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even he shall live by me. This is that bread which came down from the Shemayim, not as your fathers did eat manna and are dead. He that eateth of this bread shall live forever. So even though that manna that came down was bread of the angels, as it says, when you look into that, right, and they consumed it, it wasn't something that was eternal, that was going to save their life eternally, right? And it says, oh, that's all I want right there. Let me jump over here real quick. Matthew chapter 4. This is Yahushua being tempted. Then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was after and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of the Most High, command these stones be made bread. Verse 4, but he said unto him, Salakia, but he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High. So we can't live by regular bread alone, right? That regular bread, the one who has the bitterness in it, the one who has the sourness in it, that won't sustain you. It will not sustain you here on this earth. You can't just live by that only. That's why he said that man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High. And look what it says in Matthew 4. It is written. So let's go to where it's written, because Yahushua is quoting something. A lot of people think that he's just saying this, but no, this is why it says it is written, because he's quoting something where? In the Torah, in the law, which he always did, which all of the apostles did, right? They always refer back to what? The law in the testimonies. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1, and it says, all the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live. So this is how you live. This is what gives you life. And multiply and go in and possess the land which Yahweh swore unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh thy Allah led thee these 40 years in the wilderness. You shall remember that. Remember how he has led you through your life and where you are right now, just like he led the children of Israel in this wilderness 40 years. You know, however old you are right now, he has led you all that time to where you at right here, right now, today. And it says to humble thee. So this is why he has been with us this whole time, to bring us to this point in time in our life, to humble us as his children of Israel, and to prove thee. So the Most High has to prove you. All the children of Israel that he brought out, I believe it say it was over 600,000 people. Don't get me wrong, it was a mixed multitude in there, you know, but we speaking about over 600,000 people. Some mixed multitude, but, you know, majority of those were Israelites. And he had to prove all those people. test all those people to what? To know what was in thine heart. He needed to know what was in their heart. Whether thou was keep his commandments or not. So that's why it took the children of Israel 40 years in the wilderness, because he was proving them. Not only that, he was giving them time, because we know when you read the scriptures, they continued to go off and fall short. But he was merciful, and he was giving them time to get themselves together, because he's long suffering. But at a point in time, he did cut them off. Verse 3, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee known, Salakia, that he might make thee know that man doeth not live by bread only, which is that physical bread, right? It's that physical bread. So man doesn't live by bread only. He doesn't live by that physical bread only, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahawah doeth man live. So that's the most important part of everything, is that what? You live by the word that came out of the Most High's mouth. That is the true bread, which Yahawashi said he is. That is the unleavened bread, that there's no bitterness in it. There's no sourness in it, right? Then he goes on to say in verse 4, thy raiment wax not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so Yahawah thy Allah chasteneth thee. Therefore, thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahawah thy Allah, to walk in his ways and to fear him. So we need to walk in the ways of the Most High Yahawah. We need to fear the Most High Yahawah. We need to always be consuming this unleavened bread, right? We need to always be consuming, not just on the feast of unleavened bread, but we need to always be consuming this bread that he's being spoken about right here. And this goes all the way back to Deuteronomy and the Torah. Really, it goes all the way back to Genesis, that he's always be giving us what? This bread, which is what? The word of the Most High. The unleavened bread. Not the regular bread, but the unleavened bread. This is what Yahawashi was speaking about, and why he is so exalted when it comes down to it. Right? When it comes down to everything, this is why he is so exalted. Let me get another one. This is Second Ezra in the 1611 King James Bible. And it says, I, Ezra, saw upon Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praise Yahawah with songs. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest. Even upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, Yahawashi, of Mashiach, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the Malak and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that put off the mortal clothing. The mortal clothing. What is mortal? Fleshly, right? If I'm not mistaken. Mortal is fleshly. So in your mortal body, fleshly body, you consume what? Regular bread. As Matthew 4:4 said, as Deuteronomy 8 said, man must not live by bread alone. But these people that's being spoken about in the book of Ezra, they put off that mortal clothing. They put off that fleshly thing, right? And they put on what? Immortal. meaning they start to consume and live in a way of what? That unleavened bread, and have confessed the name of the Most High, and now are they crowned and receive palms. Then said I unto the Malak, what young person is this that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? So now he wants to know, what man is this, or this young person that's crowning people and giving palms in their hands? He wants to know what's going on. Who is doing this, right? Well, it's that true bread. It's YAHAWAH HaMashiach that came down from the Shemayim. He is the one that's going to be giving out crowns. Why? Because he's that true bread that came down. And when he came down, it was certain men and certain women that did what? In verse 45, they put off that mortal clothing, right? They were born again, and they started to eat from what? That true bread, that unleavened bread. No bitterness, no wickedness, right? Verse 46, then said I unto the Malak, what young person is this that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hand? So he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Have you confessed Hamashiach Yahushua in this world? Huh? Have you confessed Hamashiach Yahushua in the world, the anointed one, the Savior, the one who was smeared with oil? Have you confessed him in this world? Then being I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Most High Yahweh. Salakia. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Most High Yahweh. Then the Malak said unto me, go thy way and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders of Yahweh thy Allah thou hast seen. So where is he going to go? To all of the world. He's going to go to all of the world, everywhere he can go. We're reading it right now. Thousands of years later, we reading the book of Ezra. Why? Because Ezra asked, can he write this down in the book? And the Most High told him to go get some other men that will write with him. And he wrote this for us, right? And some books he put away. If you read the book of Ezra, some books he put away for the wise, and some he allowed for everybody to have, you know. And we still have this here today. We still have this here today. So it's all about the true leaven, you know, that we have, the unleavened that we have. And what are you consuming? Are you consuming the unleavened bread, or are you consuming the leavened bread? What are you taking in? What are you consuming? And that's what you have to ask yourself. The children of Israel, as you can see right here behind me, that's the bush that Moses was speaking to, right? The bush that caught on fire, that after that bush, that Moses was sent where? He was sent back to the children of Israel in the land of Egypt to what? Free them. And after they were freed, right, that Passover night when they were freed, they had, when they came out, they did what? They had to eat unleavened bread. And the Most High did that and allowed for that to happen, what? To start to humble them, start to purify them, to work with them, right? Through the Spirit, because everything is through the Spirit. So we have to understand that, right? So we can go into a lot of more scriptures, but I'm not going to hold you. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. The ones who tuned in, I give all honor and glory and praise to the Most High Yahweh, called Allah Yahweh, by Shama Mashiach Yahushai. And with that, I say, Shalawam.